about you being gone is I can watch the game all day long. And I can stretch my legs out in the bed, extra pillow underneath my head. I don't know why nobody ever told me about the upside of lonely. I got a lot more room for my stuff, and I only have to wash one cup. I can stay up late and play my guitar, and the groceries go twice as far. I don't know why nobody ever told me about the upside of lonely. Your girlfriends ain't ringing the phone off the wall. I never have to hear from that mother-in-law. Ain't cut the grass since the middle of June. I smoke a big cigar up in my living room. Don't know why nobody ever told me about the upside of lonely. Clothes right on the floor. Let the trash pile up right by the door. Eat pizza and ice cream 3 times a day, 'cause I ain't worried about watching my weight. I don't know why nobody ever told me about the upside of lonely. Yeah, man, just think about all the good things about you being gone. Stretch out here at home. Hey, man, come on in. Don't mind the muddy shoes on the white carpet. She ain't here. You hungry? Hey, man, I got some food if you want to eat. I got a microwave oven with little pictures on the front of it. Just pick what you want to eat and push the button, and it will cook it for you. Yeah, man, you can smoke that cigar up here in the kitchen. Just use that vase over there. Need something to drink? We got beer, bourbon, whiskey, scotch, Diet Coke, Fanta. Yeah, man, I bet you've been on the road for a minute. Bathroom's right down the hall. Switches on the left, doors on the right. Just remember to leave the lid up. Leave it up. Hey everybody, welcome to Keeping It Swingin' on Facebook Live. I'm your host, Brian Nova, and I'm so glad you guys chose to spend the afternoon, evening, tonight with us, depending on where you're coming from. Our first song comes from Jerome Kern and Ira Gershwin. Long ago and far away, I dreamed a dream one day, and now the dream is is here beside me. Long the skies were overcast, but now those clouds have passed. You're here at last. Chills and up down my spine. Aladdin's lamp is mine. A dream was not beside me. Just one look and then I knew that all I longed for long ago was you. Beside me, long the skies were overcast, but now those clouds have passed. You're here at last. Chills run up and down my spine. Aladdin's lamp is mine. The dream I dreamed was not denied me. Just one look and then I knew that all I longed for long ago was you. Long ago was you. Welcome everybody. Boy, leave it to Jerome Kern to write a bridge that just nobody, you better know that song well or you're just not going to get through it. I hope you guys are having a great week so far. We're so happy you were here with us tonight. What do we got to talk about tonight? Well, first things first, our tip jar, check it out. On PayPal, we helps keep things flowing and rolling around here, and we never expect it, but we certainly appreciate it. We thank everybody that has donated in the past so much. We really, truly appreciate it. A big shout out there to Benedetto Guitars. Benedetto Guitars. They are, of course, the world's greatest guitars, and I'm so lucky to have one. And thank you to Howard, Paul, and everybody over there in Savannah, Georgia. Hope you guys are doing well. Big shout out to all our pals up in the north that are at our, what should we call them tonight? I guess we're going to call them the Leafs. What do we call them? The Rolled Leaves, I guess what we're going to call it tonight. So all the Rolled Leaves clubs up there in Seattle, of course, Churchill Room, Vertigo Club, in the Bay Area, all our favorite ones over there too as well, the U Club, and we've also got great ones down here as well, Mirage, PDT, and yeah, big shout out to everybody there in Sonoma. This one is a rolled leaf from Cuba, so can't wait to
Smoke and choke that one. What else we got to talk about? Let's see. We are also have. I've got something I need everybody to help out with here. We have a YouTube channel, Brian Nova YouTube channel, and we need subscribers. We need you guys to go out tonight and subscribe to the YouTube channel because we also want to start going live to YouTube, and we need a few more subscriptions before they'll allow us to do that. So please pass the word. Tell everybody you know. Subscribe to YouTube and see what happens. Actually, I'm going to change guitars. I had so much fun last week with our pal Julio Reyes here that I decided to pull out my Takamine as well. As you probably all know, I'm a huge fan of the Bossa Nova. So danzo samba, vai, 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 vai. So danzo samba, so danzo samba, vai. So danzo samba, so danzo samba, vai, 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 vai. So danzo samba, vai. Gelosinho triste demais. Mas não sei, me consei o calypso, cha-cha-cha. So dança samba, vai, 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 vai. So dança samba, vai. So danzo samba, vai, 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 vai. So danzo samba, vai. So danzo samba, vai, 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 vai. So danzo samba, vai. Gelosinho triste tem demais, mas não sei, me só sei o calypso, cha-cha-cha. So danzo samba, vai, 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 vai. So danzo samba, vai. So danzo samba, vai. Danzo samba, vai. Woo! Love that song. And yes, I sang it in Portuguese. No, I don't speak Portuguese. I learned that years ago, but it's one of my favorite songs, and I love the Bossa Nova beat. I studied all these beats years ago. First, of course, I was a big fan of João Gilberto. There's a João. afternoon long, to be honest with you. I just love the feel. So, listen, what do we else have to talk about? I'm going to play another pretty song here for you before we get started on some of our great guests that we have today. a beautiful old tune called Little Darling. And it was a song that's very close to me. Joe Pass taught that to me when I was on the road with him so many years ago. And Joe would play that every night. And I just fell in love with it and basically begged him to teach it to me. And finally he did. And so it's good to pull that one out every now and then. Listen, I'd like to pull up our first guest right now. We have a star-studded show tonight, folks, for you guys. My first guest is pianist, arranger, and composer Larry Dunlap. Most of you probably all know Larry, but for those of you that don't, Larry is one of the most accomplished pianists in the country. He was Dame Cleo Lane's pianist for over 20 years, a musical director for Cleo Lane and, of course, John Dankworth, her husband. He has toured with everybody. In fact, we've got some mutual friends I got to talk to Larry about. But he's toured with Ernestine Anderson, Larry Coryell, James Moody, Jerry Mulligan, Mark Murphy, Joe Williams, Sheila Jordan, Art Farmer, Kenny Washington, and of course his lovely wife Bobby Norris, who is a fantastic vocalist in her own right as well. Larry and I have a lot of things in common. We're both from the Northwest. He's from Forest Grove, Oregon, which if you haven't been, is one of the cutest little towns you'll ever come across on the Interstate 5. It's really cute up there. I remember going through there many times. And we've also played many different fellow friends from Portland, the Portland area, a lot of great musicians in Portland. And it's just such a treat to have Larry. In fact, we've got some pics here. Let's show them some pics here, honey. Here's some pictures of, there's Larry with Yvonne Lenz and his lovely wife, Bobby. And there's Larry with the great Jack Jones, or the Desert's own Jack Jones. Had a chance to play with Jack many times myself. What else we got there to look at for Larry? Oh my goodness, the great Mark Murphy. How about that? I wonder where that was. I'll have to ask Larry where that was taken out. Looks like maybe Yoshi's or something like that. And the wonderful, incomparable Mary Wilson there. Right on, Larry. So let's bring Larry into the fray here. I'm going to put my headphones on so I can hear Larry. Larry, you there?
I'm here.
All right. I can hear you. And I think we can almost see you. There you are. How are you?
Okay. I'm good.
Man, it is so good to have you here with us today. We're excited to have you.
Yeah, wonderful.
And you're up in the beautiful Bay Area right now?
In Pacifica, just south of San Francisco on the coast.
Oh, yeah,
Very
Pacifica.
nice, yeah.
I can see you've got trees and all kinds of wooded shaded
well,
area
I've got
behind
this
you
little
there.
backdrop here. Yeah, I ordered this online, and I didn't realize it was coming from China. It took about 6 weeks to get here, and I thought it was going to be much longer, but it's okay. I like it.
It reminds me of my favorite. It reminds me of my favorite. What is that rock and roll documentary? Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
And they ordered Stonehenge, and they wanted it in feet, but they wrote it instead of in inches, and it was about that big when they lowered it. So
yeah.
You've got your own little Spinal Tap Stonehenge going on back there.
Hey, I have a quick little story because
I'd love it.
Because you were doing the bossa novas.
Yes.
And you mentioned Joao Gilberto. I heard that one day Joao Gilberto decided he would spend the entire day only practicing half-note bass notes on the guitar. Not playing any chords, only the bass notes for like 8 hours. He sat on his couch and played boom, 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 boom. And he had a cat, right? And his cat came over and sat in front of him and stared at him for a long, long time, just playing these half notes. And he was up on the 3rd floor apartment, and he had the window open. And after a while, the cat went over and jumped out the window and committed suicide. I don't know if that's a story I heard.
Yeah. Hey, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? I did the same thing. It's actually very hard on guitar to try to get the samba beats.
Yeah.
And then try to play just the bass on 1 and 3, and not just on 1 and 3, but you got to really play it, as you know, on the bottom of 1 and 3. You know, the closer you can get to the bottom of that note, the more authentic it sort of feels as it lays with the samba.
Yeah, like the surdo, like the big bass drum on the 3.
Exactly. Yeah. That's kind of what they're. I think that's what the Cyrtle's trying to do, is copy the guitar. I remember Greg Field, when he was working with Phil, who's the great producer that he actually did the Girl from Ipanema record. Not Phil Ramone, but who's the other Phil? Yeah, Phil Ramone. What am I thinking of? Yeah, so Phil Ramone told me the story that when they brought in Gilberto to the studio, he didn't want drums. He actually, and then they said, well, we have to have some sort of rhythm. So he wanted the drummer to play brushes on his lap and put the microphone on his lap. He did not want, he wanted the guitar to be carrying all the rhythm. And if you listen to it, it's amazing. It's really just the drummer is either playing cymbals for the solos or just the hi-hat. That's about all you hear.
We saw him doing a solo concert 10, 12 years ago in San Francisco, Joel Gilberto. And he came out, he played packed house, it was in the Masonic Auditorium, was sold out. He comes out, he plays about 25 minutes, and he leaves, and he doesn't come back. And the audience is going crazy, right? Because, everybody paid all this money, they packed the place. He plays 25 minutes, and I think he was in a bad mood or something, but because they were giving him such an ovation, he came back, and he played about an hour and 15 minutes of encores.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really interesting.
But he was going to give him 25 minutes, and that was that. Huh?
Everybody would have been very unhappy with that.
Oh my God! It takes longer to have to park their car by the Masonic Temple.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Can you stick around with us for a few minutes? I want to play a couple videos. So this first video we're going to look at is it's one of my favorites, and it's actually off of our latest CD. Let me show them the cover here, honey. We've got our latest CD, the Brian Nova Collective. And this is a tune that Larry, and in fact, if you look back there in the back, there's Larry with a white beard and a red shirt laying on the couch. You sure do, man. You're back, and you're playing piano with your right hand. I love it. And this is a tune that Larry wrote, and when I first heard it, he played it for me some years ago. I just fell in love with it. So when we had the chance to do some playing together, I really wanted to do this song. So this is actually myself with Larry, Andy Fraga Jr. on the drums, and of course the one and only Terry Miller, Terry Kidd himself, on bass. So check it out. It's called "Look It in Your Eyes." Give it a listen.
Looking in your eyes, I see a new way of living. Looking in your eyes, I see that love's a possibility. I know I should have guessed you're different from the rest, curious and shy, gentle as a lullaby. Looking in your eyes, I see the soul of a dreamer. Could it be we've shared a dream or two? Though I'm dazzled by the beauty of the earth, the sea, the sky, it can't compare to looking in your eyes. Such loveliness I see within your eyes. looking in your eyes, I see the soul of a dreamer. Could it be we've shared a dream or two? Though I'm dazzled by the beauty of the earth, the sea, the sky, it can't compare to looking in your eyes. Such loveliness I see within your eyes.
Ah, beautiful, Larry, beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I came up with that opening line, da 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 da. I came up with that when I was driving home from a church gig, and I was really tired. It was a Sunday morning, and I put on a CD of this piano player who lives in England. Charlie Hickok is his name. And at the end of a song, he played the last chord, and then he played that little lick on that last chord, da 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 da, like you'll do on a fine. And I just thought, oh yeah, that's a nice start for a song. And I wrote the whole song driving home.
Wow. Oh, it's such a beautiful tune. It is such a gorgeous song.
Thank you.
So listen, you spent over 20 years with the great Cleo Lane. What was that like?
Well, wonderful people to work with. I really enjoyed working with Cleo and John. I considered them both great friends. Of course, Cleo's still around. I think she's 93, maybe 94. And yeah, she's still living on their estate north of London, where Bobby and I have stayed. But they were both just wonderful people, great senses of humor, and from very different backgrounds. John was very upper class. Cleo was pretty lower class.
Oh, interesting.
Although you wouldn't know that from the way they presented themselves in public, right? But yeah, but I mean, Cleo loved a dirty joke and a foul word. She loves all that stuff. But yeah, it was great, and they always treated us very well, and took us out to dinner from time to time, and had some nice trips, And I never went to Europe with them because they had their own musicians over there.
Oh, interesting.
But we went to Japan and Australia 2 or 3 times, and Hawaii, and
that works.
New Zealand. Yeah, it's good.
Especially after 20 years, that must have been just amazing. All the different places you have played. What was one of your favorite? I remember, didn't you play at Carnegie Hall with them? You guys had a recording there, right?
It was recorded. It got a Grammy. It was 10 years after they first recorded at Carnegie. It was called the 10th anniversary concert. And we did one tune, I Want to Be Happy, where we all had to come out to the front of the stage. And we couldn't push the piano out there. So I played a melodica, a little keyboard thing.
Yeah.
And the recording got a Grammy. So I'm pretty sure I'm the only person who's ever played melodica at Carnegie Hall and gotten a Grammy for it.
That should be written down somewhere. Yeah, I bet you are.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a great story.
And then
go ahead.
One time we were going to play at Pepperdine University down by Los Angeles, and we were flying from somewhere else. Our luggage didn't get there. So that was all Cleo's gowns. That was John Dankworth's instruments. That was all the music. And except for John, except for Dankworth, all of us were reading the charts at that time. And so we had about 2 hours before the gig. John got some instruments from the music department. Cleo got some gowns from the theater department. And John and I spent about 2 hours making out little sketches, enough so we could do the charts, And it came out really well. And at the time, when we started the concert, John made an apology, and he said, our luggage didn't make it, and the music didn't make it, Cleo's clothes didn't make it, and the airline really messed up. And we don't want to mention the airline, but we're all united in our discomfort.
He was very highbrow, wasn't he? Yeah, I love it. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got another video I want to show the folks. This is the one with
Great.
you and I just playing together. It is a beautiful tune called The Masquerade is Over. Check it out. All right, here we go, Larry. All right. What a beautiful tune, Larry. That's great stuff. Great
Yeah,
stuff.
I like that. It's a good one.
And by the way, everybody, you can hear the full versions of everything. All the songs that we do here are up on our YouTube channel, Brian Nova YouTube channel. The videos go up. Most of them will probably be up tonight or at some point tomorrow, so you can check them out, listen to them, put them in the background, enjoy the artistry of the great Larry Dunlap. So,
right.
Hey, Larry, now tell me about your show. You've got a Facebook Live show as well.
I do it. I call it Uncle Larry in the Cave. And because my room, I mean, you can't see all my room, but it's just piles of stuff everywhere. It's like and I have a lot of these, a lot of these guys,
Oh,
a lot of different animals around. This one is Monk. I had
Monk.
a contest to give him a name, and that was the name we came up with, Monk. But
I love it.
I've got, rabbits, and I've got a boar. Anyway, yeah, I do my streaming every Wednesday and Sunday.
Wednesday and Sunday, 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, except not tonight because I'm doing
tonight.
your show.
Oh man, So remember that, folks. Not tonight, but next week after our show, or on Sunday, 7 o'clock, Facebook Live, Larry Dunlap. And that goes off of your page, right, Larry?
Yeah. And I welcome requests. I get a lot of requests, and it's good.
Yeah.
I usually try to think of, we did a Bill Evans show, and we did a Brazilian show. I almost always have at least one Yvonne Lynn song. And there's a guy from the Cape Verde Islands, Amandio Cabral, who I've recorded, I think, 12 CDs of his music. And hardly anybody plays his music. So I always try to play one of his and one of Yvonne Lynn's, and then lots of different things.
Well, I got to check it out. Those are two of my favorites right there.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Larry, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Brian.
We so appreciate it. And give Bobby a big hug from us.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, we'd be doing a pretty heavy hang right now, wouldn't we?
I know, we would be.
Yeah.
I look forward to it when we can.
Yeah.
All right, Larry. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Whew. Great Larry Dunlap. What a treat. And I got to tell you, folks, he's one of the best storytellers of. I remember one night we were out, and he told jokes for, it must have been 3 hours, and just had us rolling. He's a very, very funny, and a great musician. So I've got another couple of videos. Our next guest is going to be the great Gary Novak. And Gary's a dear pal. And this guy, I mean, his resume is absolutely ridiculous. He's toured with Chick Corea, George Benson, Maynard Ferguson, Lee Ritenour, Michael McDonald, Natalie Cole, David Sanborn, Anita Baker, Alan Holdsworth, Robin Ford, a lot of guitar players, Michael Landau, Alanis Morissette, and many, many, many more. And comes from a very musical family as well. So I've got a video. We're going to play a couple of short videos here for you. Check out this very first video. This is, of course, Gary taking a solo, and there's just nothing like it when this guy's playing. Check it out. Well, folks, that's what I call a drum solo. And we've got him here live with us tonight. My dear pal, Gary Novak. Gary, you there?
Yes, I am, Brian. How you doing,
bring
brother?
you on. Let's bring you on here.
Everything good?
Yeah, that's you. That's you. Let's see. We're trying to. There you are. We're trying to bring you in here, and we're getting you. We got you. How's things? Good?
Things are good. Couldn't be better. I'm actually down on a friend's boat. Our buddy Doc, Eric, down in the marina, kind of just taking a nice, easy day.
That is a good-looking boat. Is that Doc's boat?
It is. This is Doc's boat, actually.
All right.
Andy and I are across the harbor, so we kind of take the dinghy over here and steal his booze.
Dude, that is so cool. So before you came on, I was sort of bragging about you a little bit, talking about this laundry list of people you've played with, and I gotta say it's a wee bit guitaristic heavy, man.
Yes.
What is? I mean, I know what it is. I mean, I love playing with you. I think any guitar player is blessed if they get to share the stage with you.
Oh, that's very kind of you to say.
Is the feeling mutual? I mean, do you like guitar players, or is it just the way it kind of worked out?
Oh, I mean, it's a little bit of both, Brian. It's a little bit of both. Like, it's funny. The instrument in itself, I think, just in my generation, like there are a lot of guitar players that are just leaders. So, with Robin Ford or Alan Holdsworth or any of these guys, like a lot of the choices that you have as a sideman, there's a lot of guitar players that lead bands, especially during the time that I was coming up. John Scofield had a band, Mike Stern had a band, Larry Coryell had a band, Larry Carlton, Rit, all these guys had careers as solo artists. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of job opportunities. I think anywhere through the 80s and 90s, there were a lot of guitar players that were out touring. It just seems that way. But yes, I love the instrument.
Well, I can tell you, as a guitar player group in that generation, I think the guy that all really let it off was George Benson. I mean, he, in '74 and '76 when he did Breezin', that just sort of that cemented a guitar as I mean, the guitar was always a lead instrument, right, for rock and roll. I mean, ever since Chuck Berry and Elvis. But I mean, really, with the instrumentalist being able to go out there and the impact that he made with Warner Brothers and Quincy.
And I think he kind of changed the game. He was the first guitar player that really he became a huge pop star. I mean, he had a lot of success, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Massive.
Reason was I don't know if it sold platinum, but it was up there. That was a huge selling record. I mean, I first got into George on the CTI era, the records with Jack, and that was just unbelievable guitar playing, especially at Soundcheck, playing with George, it was so fun, man. Like obviously the gig was more of a pop band by the time I got on the gig, but every day at Soundcheck was just playing tunes. He didn't want to play anything from the night. He wanted to sing for about 30 seconds and just play for 45 minutes, and it was pretty fun, and he's still got the spirit. Like, he goes to clubs and he'll go sit in and play. Like, if Herbie's playing at the Blue Note or Chick or something, he's there. He'll bring his axe. So he wants to play, always. Yeah. He's great, man. Yeah, he was a good guy, man. He is a good guy, but he was one of my favorite bosses I've ever had, man. He's a very nice man.
Speaking of bosses, how did you meet Chick? How did that work out when you ended up with Chick's Electric Band?
That's the only audition that I've actually ever got. Actually, that's an interesting question. My dad actually knew Chick before I was born. When Chick was, I think he was actually playing with Stan Getz at the time.
Oh, wow.
Maybe my dad's trio, or maybe my dad was doing something with Sarah Vaughan at a club called Mr. Kelly's in Chicago. So my dad, my dad knew Chick for a while. So when I moved to LA, I was kind of 6 degrees of separation. I kind of knew some people that knew him, and when the whole thing with Weckl just went sideways, John Patitucci had recommended me for an audition, and a friend of mine named Steve Taglioni, he actually recommended me for an audition. I got lucky, Brian. Okay, it was supposedly the Electric Band, which is all this difficult fusion music. So when I came into audition, he was like, just bring a jazz kit or whatever. So I show up with my little 18 and my tiny little bebop drums, and we didn't do any electric music the entire audition. We played like Windows and Humpty Dumpty and Letha and all this old music, and he kept passing me the sheet music, right? And I was like, I don't need that. I know that music. Thank you, Daddy.
Wow.
Because I used to play all his tunes with my dad. So the fact that I knew a lot of his history that was pre-RTF, right? I was like maybe 23 at the time. He's like, oh, wow, this kid's a jazzer. I'm into that. That's basically how I got the gig, because my competition in New York is a very dear friend of mine by the name of Zach Danziger, who's an unbelievably great drummer, man. And truth be told, maybe for the fusion stuff, he might have been a better call than me. But oddly enough, when I got the gig, the Electric Band only lasted 1 year. I ended up staying on Chick's band with Patitucci and Bob Berg, and it became the quartet.
You're right.
Yeah. So I only did one record and one tour with the Electric. The tour was 9 months long, but it was only like one record and one tour for the Electric Band. Most of my time with Chick was with the acoustic quartet.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's kind of interesting. That band stayed together, and the Electric Band kind of went away. I think Chick got tired of playing like loud volume gigs and just wanted to play piano and have no amps and just, kind of go back to that for a while. So that's the history of that. But
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, can you stick around for a second? I want to show a video here.
Where am I going?
Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. Light that cigar. Put some ice in that drink, and we're going to show a nice little video of you doing yet another fabulous drum solo that we were able to here at Vivify Musical Studios here in Rancho Mirage. We're able to procure all sorts of stuff. So check this next one out here.
All right.
Here we go, Gary. All right, yeah. Hey, listen, your dad, man, he played with Peggy Lee for how many years?
Oh gosh, over 10 years. He was, I think, Peggy's music director when I was like, I don't know, probably.
You did 10 years with Chick?
No, 10. My dad was 10 years with Peggy Lee, and it was 70, maybe 70 to 80. Now that I think about it, 70 to 80, around then, 60, maybe 68 to 78 or so. I was little, man. I can't remember. But he was there for a while.
Well, your dad played with everybody. He played with Sinatra, Torme, Sarah Vaughan, Bennett, all those guys, right?
Mm-hmm. My dad had a couple of great stories about Peggy Lee, though, man. There was some shenanigans going on. It's pretty funny. What do you got there? What do you got there, Brian? What are you smoking?
I can't say it online or else Facebook will kick me off, but there it is.
I got you. Nice.
Well, I was looking at your dad's discography and stuff, and I realized that, many of the people that he played with were the guys that I grew up listening to, studying with, and then got to play with too, kind of on the back end of all that, like Big Herbie Ellis and Ray Brown and Kenny Burrell and Barney Kessel. Those guys were all, my mentors growing up, as well as yours. So we kind of come out of the same sort of branch of the tree, I guess you could call it.
I agree, Brian. Actually, my dad was really good to me, man. I got to play with, I think, every guitar player that you just mentioned.
Wow.
With my dad. Yeah. Barney Kessel, super nice man. Herb Ellis, played with him with a bunch back in the day with Terry Gibbs. You know Terry, right?
Oh, I do, very well, yeah.
Yeah. And Terry and Buddy DeFranco, Joe Williams. Do you remember a guitar player by the name of Joe Cohn?
Of course.
Al Cohn's kid?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Joe was around a lot. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Joe was on a lot of those gigs. This is back in the 80s when I was still in high school. But I got a great experience with Dad, man. I got to say, it's hard to look back on it. It's the most perfect childhood if I'm into music. He took me to every gig. If I was able on a level to make music with these guys, he'd give me the chance to, not always, but mostly. Yeah. He gave me the chance, and it's priceless. When Milt Hinton tells you something about how to touch a ride cymbal, it's kind of like you listen. I've been very fortunate to hang out with some of that old guard, the jazz royalty,
Yeah, we were just talking about that last night. So many of the younger kids today, when they learn music, everybody's holding their hands, and I can tell you that if I did something that Joe Pass or Herbie Ellis or Ray Brown didn't like, man, they let you know now.
They
There's no question. Just pound you over it, and I guess the good news is I never made that mistake again. The bad news, it took years of depressives, antidepressives, and psychiatry to get over it.
I get it, but there is a lack of that going on in the music world right now. A lot of the younger players that have an amazing gift it's sad in the sense that that generation is dying off, and those opportunities to join a group with a mentor like that are far and few between now.
They are.
So you kind of, you're dealing with your own echo chamber to a degree. Like people that are on generation, they might not have as broad of experience as, you get a chance to play with a guy like Chick for years. That, you can pick his brain, you can learn a hell of a lot. If you're open
on and
to
off the stage.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
But I do feel that it's a little strange within the younger music community that they don't have the older generations to kind of lean on in a way. It's a bit of a free for all. Some of the music I hear is pretty phenomenal in terms of the performance aspect of it, but it's frantic. Some of the newer music sounds frantic, and it sounds like it's almost needs guidance from some of these mentors. I don't know if I'm sounding like an old fuddy-duddy, but
no.
I can definitely hear some of that element of a lack of direction. Maybe it's like society. Everything's so frantic. Music reflects it.
That could be. Because to me, when I hear a lot of the younger bands, it sounds like when you go to a grade school in the kindergarten and the bell rings and the door opens and the kids run out onto the playfield. That's what some of these bands sound like to me. It's just like,
yeah,
let us out.
Yeah, it's on 10. Yeah, it's on 10 all the time. And there's not a lot of romance in the music anymore. Not a lot of subtlety, not a lot of romance. It's kind of macho. I mean, it's just my opinion, whatever. But, that's one thing I think that I hope we don't lose in the history of jazz.
I do too.
I hope, I try to keep some of it going with whatever students that I do have. But, I know that Peter Erskine is a pretty good mentor to a lot of the, people over at USC. They've got a pretty good program, with some veteran players, Bob Mintzer's over there. So and Russ Ferrante, you got Peter, they got some guys trying, doing the right thing.
They do. Same thing with the guitar department over there. They got a great guitar department, jazz guitar department.
Who's over there? I don't even know who's teaching there now. Who is it?
Frank,
I don't remember.
Frank.
Was it Bruce Foreman?
Oh, Bruce is there teaching right now. Yeah.
Bruce, right.
And but there's a whole host of great guitar players that are over there teaching at USC.
Yeah, I mean Berkeley, I guess still has a pretty good program. I just sometimes I see their recitals and there's some prolific musicianship, or I should say prolific playing, not prolific musicianship yet. A lot of steroids, a lot of power, a lot of prowess, a lot of chops. Did
you ever hear the old Art Tatum story about the kid that played like him?
No.
So Art gets invited to this party. It's Upper West Side in New York, and Art goes to this party, and the host says, Art, I don't want you to play. I want you to come as my guest tonight and just enjoy the party. So as sort of an homage to Art, the host hires a young kid that's been studying Art Tatum stuff his whole life, and he's playing all this Art Tatum stuff. So when Art walks in, of course, it's this young kid just playing like crazy on the piano. Hours go by, 2-3 hours, and Art never talks to the kid. And Art finally decides it's time for him to go. And so he goes to the host, thanks him for everything. And as the host is walking into the door, he says, hey, Art, I noticed you never talked to the kid. He says, what do you think of this young kid, this young protege out here that's just, the talk of the town and tearing it up, playing all your music? And Art turned to him and says, he knows what I'm playing. He just doesn't know why.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Exactly. That's pretty awesome.
As only the old guard could talk, or say.
Yeah.
Hey man, stick around. I want to show another video here real quick, okay?
Oh, sure.
You need some more scotch. Tell Doc and Junior to get you some more scotch. We're gonna play video number 4. This is a fun video with yours truly, along with the great Gary Novak, and of course the omnipresent, effervescent, Carol's birthday present, Terry Miller on bass. And it's a great tune done by one of my great mentors, written by him at least, the great Eddie Harris, called Cold Duck Time. Check it out. Here we go. Terry. Gary. Yeah, Gary. That was really good. Yeah, man. Look at all that good booze you got lined up. You guys are living large there with Junior and Dr. Eric.
You know, every once in a while we get to play hooky, come down to the boat, play some dominoes, have a few drinks, a little stogie, and, you know, it's definitely fun, man.
Oh, God. Well, you're not missing
Get over
anything
here.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. We got to get over there.
How hot is it today?
Dude, we are 3 blocks away from Hades. You just go down our street 3 blocks, take a left at the red mailbox, and there you are.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's
right?
hot.
Like 119,
dude,
over
yeah.
110.
Oh, yeah. It was like 120 when we came back here on Sunday, man. It was just like, holy moly. Yeah. You can feel the ground kind of melt under your feet when you're walking.
Dude, I think it's about 66 right now where we are.
Oh,
yeah,
chilly.
66, buddy.
Chilly.
Yeah, exactly.
Gary, man,
Damn.
I cannot thank you for being on the show this much, man. And you sounded great.
No, thank you very much, Brian. It's always a gas playing with you and Terry, man. I miss you guys.
We miss you, man. We miss you. I'm sure I speak for Terry when I say that. I mean, Terry's just not sensitive enough to say those sorts of things out in public, but I'll say it for him. We both miss you.
Well, thank you for inviting me, by the way.
Dude, man, thanks for saying yes. Make sure the next round of Doms you play there, you win. You got to kick Doc and Junior's butt for me.
It's not looking too good right now, bro.
Oh, dude, you just got to spin that over and knock the little pigs out. Start from zero.
Exactly.
That's what I'd be doing. That thing go flying off the deck.
Exactly. Just, oops, I'm sorry.
Oh, dude, we got to start over. This is cutting
Start over. Do over.
All right, Gary.
All right,
well, hopefully we'll get out there to see you before too soon.
Please, man. Thank you for inviting me on the show.
Thanks for being here. All right, man. Take care.
All right, bro.
Bye. Great, Gary Novak. Yeah. So listen, we've got some great stuff coming up next week. Next week, just the talent. There's so much talent out there. We have one of the world's great arrangers, composers, trumpeters. Does movies. The great Chris Waldron is going to be with us next week. and we'll be talking about how do you score a movie, or how do you score for Seal, or how do you score for Jennifer Hudson and all the great people he has written these epic arrangements for. And we're also going to have who I think is one of the great keyboard players and vocalist, Pat Tuzzolino. If you don't know Pat, make sure you tune in next week, because this guy is amazing, and he's a dear pal. So lots of great stuff. Of course, we have our wonderful little Ellington. Ellington, come here. He wants to make a little, well, maybe he doesn't. He was sleeping. Anyway, we've got big thank out, of course, to our lovely Masoni here, who did just a beautiful job with all our technical aspects today. And, of course, a shout out to Larry and Gary and Terry and Andy. Thank you guys for helping out today. And we hope you guys stay safe out there. I hope you guys are kind to each other. It's really hard these days. I know we're all locked up in this thing together, and it's really hard to not want to just scream and holler at somebody. But I try. You can try. Be kind. And remember, no matter what happens, keep it swinging.